Let's come back to Gauteng now, and the Soweto home of struggle stalwart Winnie Madikizela-Mandela is going to be turned into a museum. Today would have been her 86th birthday, were she still alive. Madikizela-Mandela died in 2018 at the age of 81. Now, our reporter Moloko Moloto joins us for more on this. So, Moloko, a lot has been happening at Winnie Madikizela-Mandela's home. Talk us through that, and also what was said on behalf of the family.
Good evening, Sally. That's very correct. The home of Winnie Madikizela-Mandela, the struggle icon and stalwart, today was indeed a hive of activity. The African National Congress, led by the party president Cyril Ramaphosa, along with the party's Gauteng leaders, descended onto her home in Orlando West to commemorate what would have been her 86th birthday. Now, we all know that Winnie Madikizela-Mandela, professionally, she was a social worker, and we heard from her daughter, Ambassador Zenani Mandela, saying that this home, when her mother was still alive, was like a sanctuary for the women in particular of this particular area. And as a result, as the family, they have decided that they would turn it into a museum. You would recall, Sally, that the house of the former President Nelson Mandela, which Winnie Madikizela-Mandela at some point shared with her former husband, is just about 2 or 3 kilometers from her house, the one that is going to be converted into a museum. And that particular house along Vilakazi Street that belonged to former President Nelson Mandela is already a museum. So we heard today their daughter saying that wherever her mother is possibly, she was saying jokingly that the mother is jokingly possibly saying to Nelson that, look, my birthday is also celebrated back home in South Africa. But let's listen to Ambassador Zenani Mandela as she was announcing the decision to turn her mother's house into a museum.
My mother's house, we are turning it into a museum. A museum not only to honor her, but to honor all the South African women who are known and not known. Okay? They need to be profiled somewhere. And that house, the Parliament of the People, is going to profile all those women. I want to thank you all for loving and supporting my mother and the family. And I must say, today you guys have made me very, very, very emotional for your love and support. I also want to tell you that that house is going to be a place of sanctuary for you all.
Yeah, so it is good to hear that her home is going to be turned into a museum. Of course, let's hope it's a properly cared for museum. We saw what happened at Brandford, where that museum was left to go to rack and ruin for many years. So let's hope this is really going to become a place that properly honours her memory. The President also spoke today at Winnie Madikizela-Mandela's home, paying tribute to her, obviously. Tell us a little bit about that. But also the big question on all our minds is the blackouts, the load shedding, and the massive problem we are facing as a country. And I know he spoke about that as well.
That's very true. The President, Cyril Ramaphosa, lauded Winnie Madikizela-Mandela as a hero, as someone who really stood firm against the harassments that were meted against her by the apartheid government, saying that she never sold out despite those harassments. And despite the fact that she was a strong woman, the President says she also had a big heart, and she was determined at all the times to assist her communities and her people. But of course, the issue of load shedding is one other conundrum for the President. A lot of the speakers here, Sally, including the representative of Congress of South African Students, pointed out that Eskom is another big issue that is a problem among the communities in South Africa, and they were very blunt, saying the president must fire the Minister of Public Enterprises, Minister Pravin Gordhan, but also the board and the management of Eskom, particularly the CEO, Andre Durator, for this rolling blackout. And we also heard from Panyaza Lisufi, the chairperson of the ANC in Gauteng, who said, "We support you, Mr. President, for the second term, but our support must be known that we are supporting you to go and deal with this load shedding matter." And the president, as he was responding to that, he said that the issues of Eskom dates back to very many years back. He understands the frustrations of the people. As much as he is not committing as to when load shedding will end, he is saying that, however, this matter is being attended to, and in the end it shall be resolved. Let's listen to him.
We have been working in the recent period over till Eskom must be fixed, and then a loss of a number of units, up to 50% of the capacity at Eskom just broke down. And that is now being restored, and we are hoping Ubuti load shedding is aware. And I want to thank you for your patience. And I know it's been difficult for all of us as Eskom is being fixed and being restored. It's been a very, very challenging and difficult task. But we are going to fix it. We are going to lessen load shedding as we increase capacity at Eskom. And I've heard the advices and the messages that are being put forward. We are giving all that consideration. What I can say is that, yes, we are addressing the Eskom challenges. We are pulling out all stops to make sure load shedding is reduced.
So interesting to note that the president is quite clear. He didn't say stopping load shedding, he's saying reduced. And we know, of course, from his newsletter this morning, where he said that we're going to have to accept we're going to have these rolling blackouts for some time to come. There is no quick fix. The focus now clearly then is on making sure we sit at a lower level, which of course has less impact on the economy. Thank you so much for bringing us details from that moment to honour Winnie Madikizela-Mandela on what would have been her 86th birthday today. That's our reporter, Moloko Moloto in Soweto.